No, I'm not worried about what people are saying. If intimidation is your game plan, I hope you have a better one.
You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines for Week 2. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And, well, let me just describe it to you. It was my birthday Thursday.
Happy birthday.
And the NFL started. In my honor, really. A little-known fact. But, yeah, so we lost all our bets. My CFL team lost to the worst team in the league. I was second in my football pool and dead last in both fantasy leagues. So, capped by an absolutely excruciating Chargers loss. So, happy birthday to me.
Well, it wasn't my birthday, but the Titans won, which was a nice surprise. And I'm still not sure if it's just because the Steelers are that bad or the Titans' defensive line is that good. I'm guessing it might be about 50-50. We'll see how they do against Houston this week, but an unexpected win to start the season is almost better than having a Super Bowl favorite win on week 1, to me.
Oh, I agree. I actually... We talked about it, and I liked your Titans in this matchup. I think the Steelers are bad. With the Chargers one, I had no expectation of them winning. But then when they had a 21-point lead in the second half, it was just enough to make me hope. And that call on the field goal, which was, I guess, supposedly a point of emphasis, but it didn't occur all weekend, as far as I know. For it to be thrown like a grenade into a game at that stage, mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, you text me again, the fix was in. And I was so hoping that Houston would lose just for division's sake, for Tennessee. And I don't expect them to win the division, but when you start off unexpectedly 1-0, you have rose-colored glasses on, and you're thinking, well, maybe we're one of the teams that didn't make the playoffs last year and makes it this year, because 10-6 will get in, and our schedule's not tough. If we could get a game up on fucking Houston to begin with, because I think Indy's going to go back.
Even if you call it a half game.
Yeah.
At worst, when, what was clearly marked as a W on Houston's scorecard, they're a much better team than the Chargers. I'm not lying to myself. And as soon as Rivers started to think about it, he was putting them in the ground 6 yards in front of receivers. He needs a change of scenery. It's over in San Diego for him.
Well, it's not even that. I don't think it's that. It looks like he's a pitcher and his arm gets tired. When for the first 3 quarters, he was throwing fine. And then in the fourth, they're bouncing in front of guys' feet. He can't throw the out. But you know what? The biggest play to me in that game, even though there's all that other shit, when it's tied, and he threw that out
to Royal. That drop
it was
on the
right
sidelines.
in his hands. He couldn't have placed it there any better, and it falls off his hands. And I'm like, well, then I knew they were going to lose then, because that was third down, beautiful play design, throw, everything was there but the catch.
Yeah, the Chargers aren't very good. I'm not going to pretend that they are.
No, but when you're wide open and it's put right in your mitts.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it's Rivers' arm. It's his brain.
Well, whatever
he has become the worst pressure quarterback.
Yeah, but he used to be good under pressure.
Oh, I know, but it's changed. Now, when all you need is a couple of first downs, he is incapable of doing it. He overthinks, he throws one bad pick, and then all of a sudden he loses his testicles. Terrible to watch. So, 0-16, still a possibility.
And I have to, I don't know if you listened to Simmons and Cousin Sal today, but they talked about they called it brushing the long snapper, the penalty.
Well, that's what it is. And ironically, I suspect the rule was partially forced by the Chargers, who have been through about 13 long snappers in the last couple of years.
But Cousin Sal's remark, I hope I'm not, is this spoiler alert for anybody out there that wants to listen to it? But he said after watching the MTV Music Awards and Miley Cyrus's performance, he went into the bathroom and brushed the long snapper.
Okay. I haven't listened to that. Not a bad line.
I had to bring that up because I was bent over laughing when I heard it. I'm like, all right, that's Cousin Sal. So, and I tweeted or texted you some tweets from Simmons today, and it wasn't meant in any.
Oh no, I enjoyed them. I was for 45 minutes. I was in that my team lost funk, and then I was drunk. So. Yeah, I'm playing hungover tonight.
See, you had the worst experience for week 1, where I think I had the best.
Well, anytime you beat the Steelers is joy.
Well, not even that, but like I said, when you get that unexpected win, and that's what I thought you were going to get yesterday, and to have it and to lose it like you did.
Well,
like even that
when it was
catch,
14 points. I texted you, they are going to break my heart.
Yes, you did. But if Royals makes that catch, even if they don't get another first down, Houston can't get into field goal range and it goes to OT.
And that was a great interception by Royd Superman.
Yes,
Ryan Cushing.
Allegedly.
No, he's been suspended. I think we can safely call
him
that
was
Royd
probably
Superman.
It could have been for Adderall.
No, I think that time it was... I think that was previous. His suspension was previous when he'd go back to the Jersey Shore to train, where I believe you are given steroids with every Happy Meal. But...
Well, he did go from like a backup at USC to a first-round pick in a year, so...
Yeah.
And there's pictures, if you want to Google them, people. Go look at his before and after pictures. It's ridiculous. But we don't care in football. No, the press doesn't. The press is doing the same thing they do. And I don't care. We've made it perfectly clear. We don't care about performance-enhancing drug in sports. We say open it up, let them use whatever they want. But you can't have press jump down the throats of some sports over steroid use and give it a pass in others, which they're doing exactly in football what they did in baseball 20 years ago. And nobody cares. I just hate the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah. In other delightful news, the New York Jets managed to screw us. I keep looking at everything I can see about that game, and I can't figure out how they won.
Well, it wouldn't have. We had the Bucks covering 3.5, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Oh no, that's with the push out, but the Jets did nothing in that game. Period. Like Kellen Winslow, and yeah, you told me previously he was back in the league, and I forgot again by Sunday. My brain just refuses to accept that he's a paid member of an NFL club.
Well, he's the only receiver they have. He was targeted like 9 times on Sunday.
So, it was Cincy's game to lose, and we just saw that, Marv Lewis is not a good coach.
Yeah, but can we talk about how we got fucked on turnovers this week? That cost us covers? Cincinnati fumbles at the 10.
Fumbles at the 10, 2 other picks.
D'Angelo Williams fumbles at the 7 for Carolina. All we needed was a fucking field goal out of that drive, and that was late. They were driving for the win. And Cincy, like you said, it was their game to lose. Fucking gave that one away. And what other game did we have? We had one right, didn't we? Yes. Who'd we get right in the parlay? We had one right. Miami. And comfortable. And I argued for a free bet, which was blowing all the shit with New England shit in the bed anyway, so that Atlanta game was irrelevant, but I still was focused on it because of how adamant I was last week that Atlanta was the best team in that division, and they get down to the 5 and can't score when a touchdown would have won them the game.
Yeah, I stand by our picks. It didn't work out. That's called gambling. But there was none of them that I looked at and I thought, wow, we were fucking wrong.
No, because Carolina could have won that game. I'm still not sold on Seattle's offense again. 320 yards passing from Russell Wilson, and they only scored 12 points.
Offense scored 10. I mean,
it could have been 13 if they would have kicked the extra point, but 12 points? I don't know. And Carolina's got a decent defense. If Carolina had another receiver instead of 7 running backs, they probably beat Seattle. I don't know what's going to happen in Seattle this week, but we'll get to that in a bit. But
and I think we got to start the games here.
Or we'll be going 3 hours tonight.
Yeah, we're done crying over spilt milk for today.
Speak for yourself.
I just want to bring up in my pool where I was second.
Hey, what pool is that? I'm not in that pool.
Oh, that's the one you rejected because of a payout issue in the past.
Oh, that stupid one where I won and then he told me I auto-picked it. Yeah. If you're listening, suck my ass.
It was second, but it was a terrible second because coming into Monday, I was 1 game behind and had the same picks as the other guy. So it's not even like I could have gotten excited about that.
So you obviously didn't take the Chargers.
No, I did not take the Chargers.
Damn. That makes it even worse when you don't pick your own team and they cover.
But when you pick your own team, against logic, and then your team loses and loses in the pool, it's like the double whammy. So I try to pick rationally.
No, I do too, except week 1, I always pick the Titans. Always. Whatever the line was, I always picked them, and then I went from there. I threw away 1 game probably every year, but my sister cost her a pool, the win. She finished second because she didn't pick the Titans against the Colts in week 17. 1 year. And the Titans won.
Well, I think here's another example. I think that might have cost me the win. All right. On that cheery note, let's get to today's games. First up, Thursday. Now, we don't bet Thursday games pretty much as a rule.
Unless there's something
want to
juicy.
Bet this anyway.
No. If there's something juicy,
it's not a hard and fast rule, but we like to stay away because it's generally ugly football and boring football.
And this will be no exception.
And 10.5.
It's 12 now.
12, yes. I'm sorry, I misread that. 12 is too much for a New England team that really struggled against the Bills' defense, which I don't think is very good.
No, and let's see, Gronkowski's not playing again. Amendola's out. Vereen's out. Edelman's their number 1 receiver right now. So I don't know how they're putting up more than 21, 24 points again this week.
Yeah, and, Ridley's back, but he tends to put it on the ground. This is a total stay-away game for me.
Yes, I don't want anything to do with it. It'll be crappy football.
Yeah, I don't even, feel particularly like watching it.
Oh, I'll watch it, but...
Yeah, it'll be on, but depending on how it looks, I can see myself continuing on in season 3 of Mad Men.
The Jets could win this, you know. It sounds stupid, but if the Bills can
Yeah.
do that, Geno Smith's the same quarterback as EJ Manuel. Running quarterback, scrambler, make things happen with his legs, maybe buy some time till some guys get open. I'm guessing that's how Kellen Winslow caught so many passes. And they had trouble with Manuel. New England's defense didn't look that great.
Well, they haven't been great. They get a lot of turnovers over the last few years, but they give up a lot of yards and a lot of points. And when that offense isn't cracking 35 with ease, I think the turnovers will go away because teams are gambling so much to try to narrow the score.
Yeah. Pool players?
Pool players. I'm going to take the Jets and the points.
Yeah. And New England to win. 12 points is way too much. Especially on 4 days.
It could be a 20. It could be a 28.
10.
It could be a 28-point victory easily.
Well, that's true.
So yeah, stay away. I'm taking the Jets and the points. Our next up, we have Carolina at Buffalo. I've got this as a stay away too.
Yeah, same here. It's too early in the year to tell with the shit teams what you got. You have to wait for the shit to sink to the bottom so that you know where the shit layers are. And I'm not sure what layer these teams are at.
Yeah, I'm utterly confused as to what either of these teams are. So I prefer Carolina simply because they have overall better athletes. And, maybe Seattle's O is poor, but they still did hold them to a minimal number of points. So I think I'm going Carolina.
That would be my bet too, but I don't want to touch this game either. It's just too many unknowns, like Steve Smith and who else for receivers for Carolina. Running back by committee.
And by injured committee too, it seems.
Like Stevie Johnson didn't do much, and he's their best receiver against New England. I don't know where the points are coming from for Buffalo. And if Carolina doesn't turn over the ball, I think they win and cover, or it'll be a push, but I would go Carolina. I would just split this one. Go whichever way you want. It doesn't matter. You'd pick Buffalo to win. And, I guess if you're picking Buffalo to win, you can't pick Carolina to cover. Well, you could. It doesn't matter. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Just split it and be thankful that you get at least a point out of it.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
All right. Our next game is a little more intriguing. Cleveland at Baltimore. Cleveland is plus 6.5.
There's no intrigue here.
I like Baltimore.
Yeah, but Cleveland has no offense.
Well, I think this game might be in the mix.
No.
No? Okay, let me expound.
All right.
Baltimore still put up points against Denver until a disastrous sequence and Peyton Manning turning it on. Baltimore was leading that game.
But here's my case.
Everyone is looking at 7 touchdowns. Whedon is not Manning.
No, that's not even what I was looking at.
Baltimore played a pretty good game overall. They're at home. They're humiliated, and Cleveland sucks. I think this is a gift at 6.5.
Well, here's my argument against it. Joe Flacco had a good 4-week stretch in the playoffs last year. He looked like the Joe Flacco I thought he was. That's going to be $120 million albatross hanging around the neck of the Ravens franchise for the length of the
I
contract.
don't disagree. I texted a friend. Flacco is a magician. He turned 4 games into $120 million.
Yeah. And
that said, the Flacco that we thought he was is good enough to beat a piece of shit team like Cleveland.
If he's throwing picks, they had trouble with Cleveland last year. No Jacoby Jones. They got a rookie wideout that had trouble hanging on to the ball. Oh.
His name's Marlon. That's
if the name if the name fits. So they got rookie wideouts all over the place. Dallas Clark at tight end, who should be retired. Ray Rice and
Miami handled Cleveland at home.
How many picks did Whedon throw? I doubt he's throwing 3 this week. I just Baltimore. I think they're going to win the game. I just don't feel comfortable. Cleveland played them tough twice last year. It's a divisional game.
That had slipped my mind. That's a good point.
It's a divisional game. Baltimore's offense isn't what we thought it was. We didn't realize how much he was going to miss. And that was the biggest mistake they made. They could have let all the other defensive guys go. He has no receiver to catch the ball for a first down. On third down, they have nothing. You have Torrey Smith, who just stretches the field. He's a deep threat. He's not a receiver. They have nobody.
Well, that was supposed to be Pitta. I mean, it may turn out to be a mistake, but the possession first down guy was supposed to be Pitta. And you really can't anticipate his hip exploding.
No, but you can't. You could have let all the. Why would you disassemble? You disassembled the defense. Why would you want to do the same thing to your offense? He's not a number.
Because.
Bolden's not a number 1 receiver in most places, but he was in Baltimore. They got sucked into that couple of good games in the playoffs by Jones and Smith and thinking, well, we don't have to pay this guy. We can put the money somewhere else. And they're going to pay. They may not make the playoffs. I didn't think they were going to before the start of the year.
I'm
I
not
thought
certain
they're
going to make
better.
the playoffs, but they can beat Cleveland at home. They can beat Cleveland at home by 13.
Yeah, can, but will they? I'm not sold on that one, but we'll keep. I'm not vetoing it. We'll keep it. We'll keep it in play. No veto.
We'll get it at the end. I like it. I mean, everyone is so focused on the 7 touchdowns.
No, I'm not. I'm focused on Flacco. Flacco is the focus for me.
Yeah, and Flacco has a winning record against
and the running
teams.
game.
Now 6.5 may be too much.
The running game.
Well, and for Baltimore,
and that they weren't great against Denver, and that Miami game. I know Miami covered, but it was close most of the way in that game. It wasn't like Cleveland rolled over and got blown out at home. They're a solid team. If Whedon doesn't throw 3 picks, it could be different. And I just don't think Baltimore's that great. What do they have?
Whedon throws 3 picks often.
So does Flacco.
Why do you think that Whedon won't throw 3 picks this week?
Why do you think Flacco won't?
Because he seems to. Because often he doesn't. He tends to beat weak teams.
And what about
let's
Baltimore's
just keep it in the
offensive
mix.
line?
Points taken. Let's see
Offensive line.
what we find that's better.
Offensive line. How many sacks for Flacco? And we didn't think Denver had a pass rush. Yeah, but he was getting peed all night. Just saying. I'm not sold on Baltimore. Moving on.
Well, okay. And to support your argument briefly, I think, this whole replacement of the offensive coordinator, that 4th and 1, which I texted you about as the game was on. It's 4th and 1 on your own 29. You come with an empty backfield, and you've got Pierce, Rice, and that fullback whose name is escaping me right now. I warned you I was hungover. And you come with an empty backfield, and then you lazily lob a pass out there. Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying they might struggle. They might struggle this year. Not saying they're not going to win the game.
I think they might struggle, but I think Cleveland is vastly overrated. I think you're listening to too much Simmons.
No, I'm basing it on Flacco, not on what Cleveland's going to do. I'm basing it on Flacco being a dud. He fooled a lot of people with that 4-game stretch, everybody calling him elite. He's not fucking elite. Elite quarterbacks don't make that throw in the flat for a touchdown that end up being a fucking...
That wasn't even a throw. That was a lob, man.
But that's what I'm saying.
Sorry,
they talked about his decision-making before the game, during the game. He's made the jump, all this shit. Brady, Manning, and all the other elite quarterbacks will make a throw like that once or twice a year. He threw 2 like that in the first half. That one to Dallas Clark should have been picked off. He was making horrible decisions. That's all I'm basing it on. He's not that good. Okay. Sorry.
No, and I'm in total agreement, but he's better than
good enough.
Next game up. Dallas at Kansas City. Dallas is an underdog. I like Dallas.
Me too. I was just going to say, is this one of the overreactions to a week 1 performance against a team that everybody thought was going to be fighting with Oakland for the number 1 pick? Like, yes, they beat Jacksonville 28-2. Well, I think most teams would have beat Jacksonville 28-2. So what do they have? I don't know what Kansas City has yet after that game.
No, Bo did nothing. I was shocked by this line. Really. I know Dallas looked like Dallas. Probably the only fans who suffer more than a Chargers fan for late game collapses and inexplicable confusion and just hellish, horrible things happening to them. But Dallas still put up a bunch of points. That defense got a bunch of turnovers.
But the scary thing with Dallas for me is that they were an onside kick away from potentially losing the game with 7 turnovers. Like, when you get 7 turnovers, you should win by 14-21. It shouldn't be close at the end. And I know the last touchdown for the Giants was garbage time touchdown, but if they recover that onside kick...
It always ends up with that onside kick because they go to the soft zone, eat up the time, and give them the points defense. Also
I know.
Known as the prevent.
But should it have been 14 points with the 7? Like, it was only a 7-point deficit or 6 till that
I'm
pick.
not saying Dallas is dominant, but to call these essentially... This is a scratch game with home field.
Yes. But as a Charger fan, you've told me many times, one of the toughest places to play. Arrowhead. Des Bryant with a high...
Yeah, an enthusiastic Arrowhead.
I think there's better options out there than Dallas on the road.
I really like Dallas on the road. This is going to be in the mix. This is going to be a fight at the end of the podcast for where our money goes.
Yep.
Because I was thinking money line on Dallas all the way. I love Dallas in this game. How do you interpret thrashing the Jaguars? That's like winning the offense, winning the scrimmage.
No, I know. I know. That's what I said. But how do you interpret giving up 450 yards offense when you have 7 turnovers? That's what scares me. They were playing at home, division game, and gave up 450 yards. And that wasn't all garbage time
80,
yards.
80 was on an utterly blown coverage.
And who knows?
Got to expect that can't happen again. Who are the receivers in Kansas City who are like Cruz?
But who knows Dallas better than Andy Reid and how to beat them?
I don't know that his record against Dallas is that stellar.
Well, he won the division how many times? Better quarterback than he had in Philadelphia the last few years. I think he's got a better defense in Kansas City than he had in Philly the last few years. The defensive secondaries I would put up against Seattle as one of the top 3 in football.
I'm a big fan of Flowers, but
it's just, I think on this one, it's too early to tell what each team is. I think there's better money out there to be made when we know there's better quarterbacks to bet against than in these games. That I think could come down to a field goal at the end in this one. I'm not saying one way or the other. I just think there's better value than this game right now. Just because I don't know what they are. If Dallas would have won that game 42-20 with 7 turnovers, I'd be right behind you. But their defense didn't prove anything to me in this game. 0.
7 turnovers don't factor in there.
The 450
the fact
yards.
That the defense got seven turnovers.
That factors in, but how do you give up 450 yards?
So you say that Russell Wilson getting 320 doesn't matter.
I didn't say that
about Carolina's defense, but
I said I was concerned that
Eli Manning winging the ball over the yard in a comeback performance does matter.
Well,
for the quality of a defense.
I'm basing it on history. Dallas is one of them. I know we bet on them. This is the 3rd year in a row we bet on them to win the East. Their inconsistency is what fucking scares me. And it's not
Seattle
just a 1-year thing.
Over 400 yards of offense, and you said, I don't believe in their offense.
They have no running game.
And you believe that Carolina's defense was pretty good.
Well, because they didn't score any points.
But
7 turnovers and you still give up 35 points?
I don't know. We'll get back
what concerned me about Seattle's offense was they didn't score any points. What concerns me about Dallas's defense, I don't care if you get 15 turnovers, how the fuck do you give up 35 points after you get 7 turnovers? How is the game even fucking remotely close? That's my concern. It was.
The game wasn't remotely close. Dallas was snorting cocaine and drinking champagne for most of those points.
So we can discount blown leads. We'll praise fucking Houston for coming back. But when the Giants come back, Dallas was just fucking sitting on their dick doing nothing. Like, there's got to be some accountability.
Were doing.
No, but there's got to be some accountability on the defense. What were they doing? What scares me is Andy Reid knows that team inside and fucking out. And the Cowboys are the most inconsistent team in football. If they go in and beat Kansas City by 21, we could bet them next week. And then I'll believe that they've turned the corner. But you even said it yourself. With coaching blunders,
but we won't get
all
a
that
price
shit.
Next week. This price is here.
Yeah, but down the line, there's just as much price.
If they beat Kansas City by 21, Dallas will be favored over anyone. I mean, it's all about prediction. But let's move on to the next game. I'm going to bring that up at the end. Anyway. Okay, we have Miami plus 2.5 going into Indy.
This is stay away for me. For the same reason, who's who? Is Indy as good as they were last year? Is Miami as good? They beat Cleveland.
Certainly not, and I think we're correct on that. I mean, yeah, I'll accept a stay away here, but I'm favoring Miami.
This one I would split.
Indy had every bounce go their way last year. They had the emotional intensity of the coach with cancer. Luck had more dropped interceptions than anyone in football. They had late game comebacks which were so unlikely that it felt like they should have been scripted. I know that Tannehill isn't Pryor in terms of mobility, but to struggle against the Raiders that way in your home opener, I don't like Indy at all in this. I like Miami.
Yeah, I would split it. Just because...
Not an exciting team, but a lunch bucket team, and I think that's enough to beat this current Indy squad.
Well, I was with you about you can't have the same bounces go your way year to year, but I'm going back to Seattle. The touchdown, fucking Wilson just threw it up. Fucking lands in the guy's arms behind two guys, misjudged the fucking ball, touchdown, 50 yards. They get the fumble at the fucking 7. I don't know what I'm watching anymore, how these teams keep doing it. It can't just be fluke or how the fuck it happens. Because Seattle had no business winning that game, to be honest. And I didn't watch a bunch of the Miami game or the Indy game for that matter. But Indy's probably an 8-8 team this year, and I believe in that whole theory that you can't predict or count on bounces going your way. But seeing what happened with Seattle, even Chicago, like it can't be fluke that they keep getting picks and knocking balls out and fucking getting the fumble recoveries.
The picks weren't. That was our ginger-haired Dalton making some bad decisions. The fumble with 10 was a lucky bounce, but
with 10 early games and the Titans being one of the 10, you saw more of the games than I did, just because of you were flipping around more or on.
Oh, yeah.
On Red Zone, but I wasn't watching much of anything else. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Miami actually impressed me. It wasn't like super dominant. It was efficient. It was a workman-like performance. 8-8 may even be too high for Miami, but I do think Indy is going to perform less.
Just quarterbacking.
Tannehill's not terrible.
No, but quarterbacking, I'm saying for the Miami defense. Luck's 10 times better than Whedon.
Yeah, well, you know I'm... I think Luck's better than Whedon. You know I'm a big Luck fan. But he didn't look that good for most of what I saw of that game. I like Miami. I don't want us to bet it, but... pool-wise,
I would split it.
I'm just smashing Miami.
Really? You take them both ways?
No. Yeah.
No, I would split.
Even though, and how did this work? Miami gets 2 on the road to start, and Indy gets 2 at home to start?
Well, Titans 2 on the road to start.
Well, yeah, but the teams without a marketable figure, are they setting them up for 2 losses? Anyway.
Yeah, maybe. Well, who knows? Fuck. The scheduling makes no sense in this.
Conspiracy shit, yeah.
Well, Tennessee has no fucking market either. Million people? Unless you're Green Bay,
yeah, exactly. So put them on the road. Put them on the road.
Yeah, they draw no fans on TV.
You know, if the Chargers weren't on the West Coast, they wouldn't have been on that Monday night.
No.
It's just that what team on the West Coast can we throw on television that will end at when did it end? About 1:30 Eastern time?
If Oakland was better, even marginally or even the same as San Diego, Oakland would have had that game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Moving on.
Next game up, we're in near agreement on that one. It's a pleasant change. Next game, Minnesota +6 at Chicago.
This is my favorite game
I like
of
Minnie
the week.
in this.
You're out of your mind.
Please tell me you like.
You were out of your mind. This is my fucking lock of the week. They're going to do exactly what
Explain.
Detroit did. Christian Ponder and Jerome Simpson are not covering this spread. Adrian Peterson could run for 150 yards, and they're not covering this spread. He's all they have. It's over. I thought Chicago proved something to me against Cincinnati. Playing at home, if this was in Minnesota, I'd be with you. In Chicago, they cover this easy. The defense is too good. And they have nothing at receiver. If Peterson thinks, you said it yourself, what Detroit did, he had that run at the first play of the game, and he got 20 yards after that. And that wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like they had to throw the ball all day. Chicago's going to eat Minnesota up. Rebuttal?
Yeah. I wasn't strong on it. I liked Minnie, so I'll give it a meh. I'm not crazy about betting it. I don't like Chicago laying 6 much at all.
Covered against Cincinnati.
Cutler's still Cutler. Capable of Rivers-esque late game collapses.
Okay, who's covering Brandon Marshall in the secondary? Who's covering Brandon Marshall? Minnesota's defense, which used to be what you could hang your hat on, hand the ball to Adrian Peterson and the defense will keep it close. They got gashed in that game. Forte's as good as Bush catching the ball out of the backfield. Bush had 90 yards receiving. I don't know how they're slowing him down. How are they slowing him down? Defense it used to be good. It isn't this year. And Peterson, he's going to have his moments, but you can't win games with just a running back anymore. Unless you have the 85 Bears defense or the Ravens in 2001. You're not covering 6 points, or you're not going to win. I don't know. Minnesota's going to be in that mix for the number 1 overall pick. They're in a tough. That might be the toughest division in football this year, with Green Bay, Chicago, and Detroit. Which one of those 3 isn't making the playoffs? And 6 at home? I think that's a gift over, like it could be 7. I'm surprised it's not 7.
I'm not. I mean, I feel off simply because I watched that Cincy-Chicago game, and Chicago wasn't good. Chicago was lucky. You're right about the defense.
Cincinnati's good, though.
And
Minnesota's
Cincinnati
not.
had the game comfortably. Cincinnati had the game comfortably in hand and shat the bed. They moved away from running. They put too much in. Yeah, Tillman's picks were all right, but they were drop balls. I'm not ready to buy into Chicago yet. I'm not certain I'm ready to lay 6 on them.
Okay.
Might be one of our better options, but it'll come up. Next up, we have a game
It's going to
we
be fun
can't
at
bet
the
on.
end.
Oh, it's going to be a fucking cage match.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a bloodbath. You might be listening to our last podcast.
San Diego is getting... San Diego's getting 7.5, going to Philadelphia. Philly.
And they're gonna cover this and do it quite comfortably. How is San Diego at least not a Monday night game this week? I know by the talent wise they shouldn't be on Monday night, but how can you have a team play the late game Monday and the early game on the East Coast on Sunday?
Oh yeah, with
would they ever do that to New England?
Maximum travel.
Not in a fucking...
No.
They would never do it to New England, Pittsburgh. Any of these teams would never play the Monday night fucking late, get done at midnight on the West Coast, and then have to be in fucking Philly.
I'll answer this question for you. I bet you the Spanos family, owner of the Chargers, just like those London games, I bet you they got a couple of $1 million as a payout to fucking absorb this.
Probably.
They don't give a fuck about winning. They don't give a fuck about the team. They got a cash payout to agree to this.
But this smacks in the face of player safety, all the shit they're talking about. Like, you're putting them at a disadvantage. Well, and Philly played Sunday or Monday night too. I don't know. Philly couldn't carry a Monday night.
Well, and that would be their argument that things are fair, but it's a lot different to go to D.C. from Philly than it is to go from San Diego to Philly.
Yeah. Yes.
Like...
But Houston's at the same...
No, I mean, this player safety shit is just
no, I know. That's why I brought it up.
What they did was like the teams that agree to pay in London, as the Chargers have done in the past, and they were paid cash money by the league to do it in the face of all player safety, all notions of producing a competitive team or winning. But the Spanos family has been unable to negotiate with a mayor who was a serial sexual assaulter. You couldn't get a deal done with that guy. They don't want a deal. They want to move this fucking team to LA. Yeah, but if you get another premium, a bigger TV market, and fuck San Diego, fuck their fans, fuck the team winning, we don't care. In fact, it's better if the team loses.
Yeah, they don't show up. Even when they were winning, they didn't sell out. They don't show up.
Well, it's a terrible stadium. But he's, like, this has been, in Miami, at least it's getting press. But basically, the Spanos family is saying, well, rebuild the entire stadium for us and give us total tax-free status and all of this. And California and San Diego is saying, go fuck yourselves.
Well,
the Spanos don't care because they know that there's going to be a stadium in LA that's going to need a team.
And you know what, Marlon? I know I don't like it either, what the owners do, but every city is caved. So they're not going to... The Spanos, I don't blame them for trying to get what they're trying to get because it's worked everywhere else, specifically with the NFL. They will bend over backwards most places to give the NFL whatever they want. Indy built a new stadium.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but that's irrelevant. You know my position on this shit.
No, I do. I know. But you're right. I'm just saying it's worked. The precedent has been set for what the owners can ask.
Well, yeah,
and Tennessee was
honestly one of the Chargers organization under Spanos hasn't even tried.
They had good teams. I won't say they're trying to lose. I think that's a little harsh. because they put good teams on the field and still had trouble selling out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
what?
if the league offers you a little bit of a cash payout to play late Monday,
Yeah, but did they
head
do it
over to
Houston
Philly,
too?
you know, a
No, but
gentle 4,000 miles away or whatever.
no, but Houston's at the same disadvantage. Houston's. If you were a Texans fan, I'd be pissed. It's great you think, oh, the exposure Monday night, and that they're got to be considered one of the top teams because they got the Monday night game. Yeah, but they got to fly back home, get home sometime Tuesday, and play a game Sunday. It's not as bad as San Diego, but it's pretty close for the disadvantage they're going to have. And you're supposed to be a Super Bowl.
This is a bit of a tangent, but in any case, let's just go to the football analysis here and just say where Houston, who even without the bizarre call and all of that, I still think was capable of driving for a touchdown, simply because San Diego is slow and not in particularly good shape, it seems. Even that slightly hurried paced offense destroyed the Chargers defense. Chip Kelly, this is going to be the greatest advertisement for his pistol system and the high-speed play.
That's why Michael Vick's my starting quarterback this week.
It could be 42-0 by the half. And, you know, a Charger may actually die on the field, and they'll bring out the defibrillators.
Would be a lot of guys. My hammy.
As I pointed out to you last night, there's a horrifying number of white people on my team, and they don't look healthy.
On that sentiment, we will move on.
I was going to try to get the audio from Mo Better Blues by Spike Lee, where Spike Lee's character is a degenerate gambler betting on baseball. And it says, no, I'm going to go against the Dodgers. Not enough brothers. So. No, this was shown last year too, like particularly in the Denver comeback. The Chargers can't play a high-paced game on defense. If you want to beat them, all you have to do is go to the hurry-up. I don't understand why Pagano, the defensive coordinator, was retained. He's now given up second-half leads of 23 and 21 in successive seasons.
They probably just
How are
didn't
you spinning
pay him
this
out.
that he's a good coach?
Probably just didn't want to pay him out.
That's that's a much more likely
they're paying
situation.
Smith,
because seriously,
they're still paying Smith and Turner. Or no, Turner not. He's coaching somewhere else, but they're still paying AJ Smith.
Yeah,
well,
no, I think that's the better theory. But seriously, how is everyone saying, "Oh, you're the coordinator. You've given up 21 and 23 point second half leads in the last 2 years. I don't care who your starters out there. That's just appalling." Next game.
You just made my argument for Dallas. But we'll get to that at the end.
All right. Next game. The Rams are getting 7 going to Atlanta.
This was the other game I love.
Your take.
Atlanta, St. Louis looked okay. Their defense, their secondary got beat up by Carson Palmer. Finnegan looked awful. He was getting beat on every long ball they threw his way. I didn't see a bunch of I don't know the stats pass rush wise, but when the Cardinals are giving you problems with their offense, when they have no verifiable running back and only one receiver, Atlanta's home opener Julio Jones is going to have a big day. Gonzalez will have a big day. They should have beat New Orleans on the road, which was probably the toughest game they could have to start the season. And the price is
against
right.
a terrible defense.
Terrible quarterback, no receiver. Jared Cook, Fisher had him in Tennessee, never used him like that in fucking Tennessee. 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fuck, I think that was a year for him in Tennessee. I'm not bitter at all. But 7 points plus 100.
I fear this may be coloring your impression of this game.
No. I'm just saying the Cook putting up that in St. Louis is a little ridiculous. It's not going to happen every week. And that's all they have at receiver. So Atlanta -7 with the number plus 100, I think that's value. If you were looking at Dallas that way, this is value Atlanta at the plus 100 to cover that against St. Louis is still a terrible football team. Beating Arizona doesn't change my mind on that because Arizona is a terrible football team.
But Arizona has a defense.
So does Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is better than Arizona's. Well, New Orleans at home, who I was told were going to...
No, I disagree strongly on that statement.
So New Orleans
it's a little off
gave
topic,
the game
but
away?
I think Zona's defense is much... Pardon?
New Orleans just gave away chances to score points. Atlanta did nothing to hold them to 23.
One, I think Atlanta's running game is a mess.
Jackson had 80 yards.
So now we've got Matt Ryan.
Steven Jackson had 80 yards rushing.
Against the team, against New Orleans. I don't buy into New Orleans' defense being better. I think that Atlanta's offense has taken a step backwards. I don't think they have
on the road in the toughest place to play.
Speak of.
And they lose at the goal line. And St. Louis is awful. You're going to put Sam Bradford against that defense with a tight end. So St. Louis is running backs better than Atlanta. Quarterback, what's your argument there with Bradford? They have no receivers.
Bradford's neither good nor bad. He's in the Tannehill factor. 7 points is a lot.
At home?
Is my argument.
Well, on the road, I would agree.
Laying big-time favorites in the first few weeks of the season is almost always a failing proposition.
Is a touchdown a big favorite against a team that's one of the 2 or 3 to win the NFC? Should you not handle a bottom feeder?
Well, I don't know. After New Orleans beat them with Rex Ryan's, as we discussed last week, a terrible defensive coordinator managed to pretty much stymie Atlanta's O.
But how is St. Louis going to score? All I
with
heard
poor
about,
talent.
All I
now
heard
then
about
we have is
Atlanta. It was New Orleans. Sean Payton was coming back, and that high-powered offense with Drew Brees would just light it up. They scored 2 fucking touchdowns against Atlanta's defense. 2. And St. Louis is going to fucking eat them up? On the road in...
No, I don't think St. Louis is going to eat them up, but I think Atlanta is going to struggle mightily to score in this game.
And St. Louis is going to put up, what, 10? Atlanta's not getting more than 17 points? I can see this being a
14-10 kind. I don't think so. No.
Yet Dallas is
I really don't.
The black is white, gray is green. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. let's move on because this will come in at the end too. We'll save some argument time for the end.
Yeah. And now this next game, I'm glad we're banned from betting this.
I would pound the money line on
are getting 8.5 going to Houston.
If you want to bet a money line bet as a long shot this week, this is the game. And I'm not saying that because I'm a homer. I'm saying it for other points I made in the San Diego game about Houston, all the travel, getting in late. They're playing an early game on Sunday. And Arian Foster's nose is out of joint. He's not happy. What year are we in the Matt Schaub experiment? Fucking 4 or 5.
No, you have to explain.
Foster's pissed off.
What's Arian Foster's problem?
He's pissed off because they're splitting the carries with Ben Tate. He's pissed.
I hadn't heard that.
Pissed. Pouting on the sidelines, fucking being whining diva bitch. Like all guys are that were the man at one point. And Kubiak's saying they're going to be splitting the carries.
Or all vegans, really.
He's saying they're going to be splitting the
makes you bitchy.
He wants them to split the carries, him and Tate. And he's not happy. I don't know. You told me how terrible the Chargers
I was unaware of that.
But you told me how terrible the Chargers offensive line was. I watched the majority of that game, and J.J. Watt didn't look anything like J.J. Watt from last year.
No, the Chargers line played. Yeah, here's the chicken and the egg thing. Did the Chargers O-line play pretty well, or is that D-line from the Texans vastly overrated?
Well, I don't know, but it can't be any better.
I'm not sure. Like, I wouldn't go so far as to make a money line, but
no,
I
I'm saying
love
as a long
taking
shot.
the 8.5 with Tennessee in this.
As a long shot, though. As a long shot on the board.
No, I love taking the 8.5, but...
No. If you want to make a long shot play, for the price you're getting, this is the game to bet. I'm not saying it's a lock, it's do this because I'm a homer. You got to look at the
no, I wasn't taking it.
Because would you rather take San Diego? Our
opinions are similar here.
Okay, I know.
Oh, fuck
but
no.
But if you look at like San Diego at plus 315, who would you think has a better chance off of the week prior performance to win outright on the road? That's all you have to look. That's what I look at when I look for a play. That's why I liked Atlanta because of the price we were getting too, not just all the other things I said. Price played a factor in that too.
Yeah.
And that's why I say Tennessee. Yeah, I'm a homer. But the line is...
We can't bet it. As a pool player, I'm going to take the points.
Yes. I would still take Houston to win in a pool and take Tennessee against the spread.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a long shot
that's the play I like in this.
Like $10 is going to win you 40 on this, or 45 on the money line. It's a good play for a $10
it's not
flyer.
A long shot. Like, I'm glad we're not allowed to bet this.
No, we did it I waived it once last year and realized why
we're
we
never
don't.
Doing that again.
No, and I realized why we don't, because I hate betting against my team. I hate cheering against my team. It just doesn't, even though we would be betting on Tennessee, it's just bad.
No, it's not allowed. The perspective is not there.
No.
All right. And I'm looking forward to... you got rid of Finnegan. You got to still have one dirty cheap shot artist on the Titans.
Yeah. Bernard Pollard.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, Bernard Pollard. Oh, unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of the ball. I really want someone to take out Cushing's knees.
Well, he usually gets hurt anyway, so... He gets hurt every year.
Well, that's what happens when you take all those roids, man. All the guys who are taking roids, they're tearing their bodies apart over the course of a season.
Yep.
Next game. The Washington Indian Warriors, I don't know what to call them anymore, are getting 7 going to Green Bay.
Can't you just say Skins?
I like Washington.
What?
Well, that was my argument back in the early 80s. I don't mind Washington.
What games did you watch? You like Washington.
Most of them.
But you like Washington in this game. Explain.
Washington was a first half, second half team. One, they got absolutely blown out of the gate. They dominated the second half. RG3 looked like a guy who hadn't practiced. In the second half of that game, he looked like RG3 of last year. He tore apart that Green Bay defense, which is utterly vulnerable to being torn apart again. That Green Bay defense is terrible. They can't cover anyone. You raved about Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden is awesome. He's my favorite number 2 in the league. And he looked like a number 1. Washington is going to rip this D an asshole.
No, Washington's a horrible team. I didn't think Philadelphia's defense was that good going into the game. Washington looked like a team that's going to regress, like we talked about the last week. They look like the team that's going to fall back the farthest to me. Did RG3 look that great?
No, I disagree. Look at the two halves in the second half. Yes, he absolutely did.
Yeah, but how many of them?
RG3 looked fantastic in the second half.
But you talked about
and
Dallas.
That defense.
You talked about Dallas.
Chip Kelly ran 57 plays, and I hate the way they count them on TV because punts aren't plays. But whatever, he ran 50 or whatever. He ran 30 in the second half. The D adjusted to it. Green Bay is overrated.
Maybe, but I think I think you're overrating Washington on one half of football. When you're up 33-7, you were using the same argument as the Dallas defense.
You didn't watch the Green Bay game at all, did you?
No. But they're still going to score.
Terrible.
Yeah, but they're still going to score. I don't think Washington's defense is good.
Possibly.
And I'll take Aaron Rodgers over RG3 till Aaron Rodgers retires. All day, every day. They were lucky RG3 even played the second half.
This was a Bedlam game, but no,
RG3 was lucky to play the second half. They talk about Vic getting hurt. RG3 got hammered in that game. Hammered. I'll take Rodgers every day at home against RG3 till they're both out of the league for 7 points with the amount of talent they have on offense. I think San Francisco is one of the best teams. No, but I don't understand how Washington's
neither do I.
A 7 point where you're saying that you'd take Washington. That's what got me.
Lay in 7 points in week 2, man. We have this every year. You love the favorites in week 2.
Well,
you want to lay points on everybody.
Look who they have on offense compared to Washington. The defenses, I would say, are about equal between the two. If you want to say Washington dominated the second half, they scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 1 in garbage time. I don't think
they dominated. They shut down.
Yeah, but when you go conservative
Green Bay
on offense, if they were letting Vic throw,
okay, explain to me. I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football. Let's put that on the table right there. Don't argue.
Receiver wise,
he's got Jordy Nelson.
Cobb. Okay, let's put it this way. Do you think San Francisco is one of the best teams in the NFC?
Yes,
Okay.
probably the best team in the NFC.
And they lost by what, a touchdown?
On defense.
On the road?
On
On the road.
defense.
Yeah, but Washington's offense is nowhere close to what San Francisco can throw at you. I think RG3 takes the furthest step back out of all the quarterbacks that are second year. Out of Wilson, Luck, and him. And I'll classify Kaepernick as a second-year quarterback because he didn't play his first year. Who's taking a step back further than him?
Okay. Well,
And he looked like it
Washington,
in the first.
You argue that the Giants were strong because they overcame a bunch of ridiculous turnovers. That's how Washington started the game. They finished the game
with Dallas was
as close as the Giants, but somehow you were saying the Giants.
No, I was arguing.
No, but that's not
Dallas's
supposed to be,
defense
and that's
wasn't good.
not how Chip Kelly tried to do it.
I was arguing that Dallas's defense.
Look at the
wasn't
drop
very
off
good.
in numbers.
Yes, but how you can't have it both ways. You're telling me that Dallas just sat on their cocks.
No, and neither can
and
you.
Philly did, and Philly didn't let up at all. Is what you're telling me. They were going as hard after it was 33-7. Then
No,
you
they
can't
certainly. No,
can't
they
use
came
that
out
argument
running
with
their
Giants.
11-second plays.
Or Dallas. You can't use that argument with Dallas then. That they just let up when they had a big lead and 7
No,
turnovers.
but
because Washington scored a touchdown with what, a
watching the
minute and a
games,
half
actually,
left?
yeah, one team did seem to lay up, and the other one went to, ground and pound 40 seconds. The other one was still trying to get off as many plays as they could.
The touchdown with a minute and a half left in Washington was more meaningful than the touchdown with a minute and a half left in San Francisco. Is what you're saying. Or in Washington, sorry. Because RG3 threw a touchdown to make it a 6-point game with a minute and change left. And so did Eli Manning. So which one meant more? It was a 2-touchdown game in both games, basically, is what I'm saying. Which one meant
about
more?
Equal. I like Washington. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the points.
All right. Washington's going to be fucking
We're not
5-11, 6
so.
and 10. 5-11, 6 and 10 team. Running game wasn't there
Okay.
like it was last year. Fuck. Good luck if you're a Redskins fan, is all I got to say.
All right. A Skins fan, by the way. We must be politically correct on this podcast.
Okay, I'll just call him Skin. Can I call him Skin? Because then I'm not offending people without skin.
Oh, that's like the mascot in Community, the human being.
Oh, shit.
Glendale Community College's human being. Next game up, Detroit at Arizona. Moneyline is closed on this, interestingly enough.
Who's hurt?
Detroit are 1.5 points favorites. I don't know. I saw that the money line was off, and all I could think was
Bush.
Well, Bush is questionable, but I have little doubt he'll play. At first, I thought it was whether or not Ndamukong would be suspended. But that came out before I printed these sheets, that he was being fined $100,000, but not suspended.
Yeah, there's nobody on. I'm looking at the injuries for Arizona. There's nobody on there that would change it. Let me go to Detroit. Jason Fox.
Like, they're giving a point spread bet, but no money line.
Yeah, there's nobody for either one of them.
It's got to be Bush and his status.
He's not even on the injury report.
It's got to be Bush. Well, injury reports don't come out till Thursday.
Well, then how are they closing the line?
The official ones? No,
I still don't
rumors,
like.
I
I
guess.
still don't like taking Detroit on the road yet. I think they're going to crush Arizona, but I've thought that before on the road. And then Stafford throws 3 picks. Didn't they
I'm
cost
with
us
you.
a game in
I'm with you
Arizona
on
last
this.
year? Didn't we bet on them last year in Arizona after an
Well,
impressive
they've
win at
cost
home?
us. Yeah, last year. We discussed this.
This isn't last year. This is
last
3
week.
fucking years in a row. Until you change my mind, I can't not go with.
I know, Boyd. I'm not arguing. I'm with you on this. Jesus, we're fucking contentious today.
Wow, you got your head out of your ass for a minute.
On the other hand,
If you saw it my way, we wouldn't have to argue like this. Come on, this isn't a democracy.
Fuck, it must be hell to be your wife. Anyway,
If people thought this was a democracy,
because it's a road game, I'm actually fucking with you. Though somehow we made this a point of argument. Plus, I actually think Arizona's defense is pretty fucking good.
I thought that before.
And Fitzgerald and Palmer, as we said last week, the Detroit secondary is still a fucking mess. This will be a test of whether that secondary can stop anyone.
Well, I'm
This
actually
is very much a look at them and see here.
I would like to see Detroit have a good year. I don't know why I have a soft spot for him now, but I kind of like Stafford. I like Calvin Johnson, how he carries himself. I like how Bush has kind of adjusted or evolved into what he is now from what New Orleans tried to pigeonhole him as and what he was getting the rep. Oh, he can't run. He can't do this. And then he goes for 1,300 yards in Miami. And then what do they say? Just because he hasn't been Earl Campbell or fucking Adrian Peterson doesn't mean he's not a good football player. He's just got a bad rap.
Well, he's in between the two of them. I mean,
no, but how could he not be used in New England? Or
a combination of a standard back, and he proved that in Miami, and he also can be a bit of Darren Sproles.
Well, that's what I was going to say. With the offensive genius that Sean Payton is, how is he not used as a Sproles type player in New Orleans?
They tried, and he resisted it because he wanted to prove he was an actual running back. I think part of this is on him, and he's matured as a human being, that he recognizes now that what would be best for him is if he utilized his entire skill set instead of thinking he's going to be something and projecting that.
But they would only run him 5-6 times a game in New Orleans. You can only run when you get the ball. It's not about rejecting a role. He was never given the role.
I mean, that's what they do with Sproles, though.
Yeah, but
that's
you
what
saw
they do with Sproles.
did in Miami.
They asked him to be Sproles, and then they...
Yeah, but they had no better option at running back then. No, I don't know. I just.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Pierre Thomas, but
not a game changer.
He's
Reggie
limited.
Bush is a game changer.
No, never will be.
He is.
Oh, absolutely. And Miami couldn't seem to figure out how to use him in swing routes either.
Yeah, and Tennessee can't figure out how to use Chris Johnson
fit.
either.
As soon as he went to Detroit, I thought that's going to be a fucking amazing fit. And yeah, I'm not ready to bet on him yet either because we haven't seen him on the road, and they still took, I believe, 4 absurd discipline fouls, as we'll call them.
Yeah. And just one point about Tennessee.
I worry about...
Oh, yeah. The game could turn on a play. Sue could bite somebody's ball sack off. It could be his next feat.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to bring up one thing about
Oh,
Tennessee
you could go all
pertaining
Tyson. Rip the helmet off and chew an ear off.
to it could anything's
For a guy
possible with
who
him.
handles his personal life off the field so well,
Well, he hasn't done that either.
what the fuck happens to that guy on the field?
I have no idea. Not a clue. He's nuts. Like there was the guy was scoring the touchdown when he dove at the other dude's knee. Now, just one thing we were talking about Bush.
Yeah, and I thought
that
that was a bogus foul because when I was watching, they had no video of that because it was so far back.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a bogus foul, and then I saw it, and I'm just like,
He just
what
head
the
first
fuck
at the
are you
dude's knee
thinking?
for no
Yeah.
reason.
It was as dirty a shot. Yeah.
It is.
And again, when I was watching it in the morning there, they hadn't isolated that video. So everyone, even Red Zone, was going, what the hell was this foul? It's phantom. Because there were no cameras on it. It was so far behind the play.
Yeah, only the coach's film camera caught it from the end zone. I think that's where they got the tape from. And that's not
Okay.
available to us mortals watching the game for whatever fucking reason. No, but Tennessee, 1 point. Was when we talked
Hey, at
about
least we're
Bush.
getting a Red Zone now, and that's a big step up.
Yeah, swing routes with Reggie Bush. You brought it up.
And you're just going Chris Johnson?
What?
Yeah.
Like just even one to slow down a pass rush. One. We didn't throw one fucking screen pass that whole game. Not one.
It's and by the way,
mind. I don't want to get off on a tangent on
he
that.
can catch the ball. Well,
I'm
no,
not
I don't want to,
advocating-
but I'm just thinking about how when the Chargers were right, LaDainian Tomlinson, swing routes.
Well, it slows
It
down the
made
pass rush. It's as good as play
everything
action. It's as good as
better.
play action. A screen. I don't. Maybe it's the
You
offensive
don't
line.
have to truly even screen it. You can just run a swing,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't
Just
have
get 'em-
to be a true screen with blockers out front when you've got a guy with that speed and those moves.
Just get him.
It's
in the open
LaDainian
field.
Tomlinson with the Chargers.
I know, but what are you gonna do? I just had
And
to get
if the Niners had owned Barry Sanders, they would have done the same fucking thing. All right.
now. when you
So
talk
I'm with
about-
you. I don't want to bet it, but pool wise, I am all over Detroit in this. I still
Yeah.
really like them.
Now, you talked about it, Sue, with that cheap block to the knees. In that Titan Steeler game, I don't know what the offensive lineman's name was for the Steelers that took out Pouncey, but he tried to do the same fucking thing, and the Titans D lineman turned Pouncey at the last second, and he dove headfirst into Pouncey's knee instead of a Titan's. And I wonder what kind of fine they would have given there. Probably nothing because it happened in the fucking trenches. Because he tore his ACL, MCL, and he dove fucking
It
head
happened in the
first into his own
trenches,
guy's
and
knee. So that's
and
it's
there's
just,
some sort of twisted justice in that. It doesn't help the individuals, but
no, it's Pouncey. It's fucking brutal.
I
He
still
blows
haven't
his
found
knee
that
out
clip
there.
that you described to me. And
It's
I'm
brutal.
a fan of Pouncey too. Not just
brutal.
because he has a great name, but
It was fucking brutal. The guy put his head down and just dove at what he thought was going to be a Titan knee, who was engaged with Pouncey at the time. So, I guess it's karma.
that's
I don't-
the official crackback.
Anywho,
Next game up, Nolans. -3.5 at Tampa Bay.
love New Orleans in this game.
How can you not love New Orleans in this game?
Tampa, there's probably 5 teams.
I still think Freeman has the potential. If he gets the hell out of that city and maybe gets under a coordinator and a coach who can control him, he's got all the talent in the fucking world.
no confidence anymore. It's been stripped
and he just
away.
gets worse and worse. Yeah, yeah.
Like they
He
took
gets
away his
worse and worse every
captaincy.
year.
They took away his captaincy before the start of the season. What the fuck does that say? And they lost to the Jets. The Jets, who I thought were going to be
They
one of the
lost to
top
the Jets.
bottom five.
Like,
I
well, and they still will be. Don't read anything into this win. It's
no, I know
they're going to be
but
few and far between.
if the Jets beat you, though, you're bad. Was my point.
Okay, is this a rare point of agreement? We want to bet this game?
Yes. My only
right.
thought was in the past, New Orleans is bad on the road on grass. That's the only
Yeah, but they don't have to be.
No, I know. That's why
they only have to be 70% of what they are.
I know.
To win and cover this game. No, I hear your point, but
that was my only thing in the back of my head, because we bet them, I think, 2 years ago when Peyton got his knee blown out, and they lost outright. But I know I love this. When I saw this line, I went, "How is it only 3.5?" Because New Orleans beat what I considered probably the second or third best team in the league, or in the NFC anyway, in their opener.
At home, Tampa, an emotional game, but
Tampa is one of the bottom five, so that takes all that other shit.
I thought they might actually bounce, but after they lost to the Jets, and even if they'd beaten the Jets, would have failed to cover. Yeah, no, I love this game. That's going to be in the mix.
Oh, I was just going to bet it.
That one's an actual one we don't have to argue about.
Should I just place the bet?
Oh, yeah, let's just bet it.
Okay, it's locked in.
Yeah.
$10 pays us $19.09. Minus 3.5, New Orleans.
It's not even a terrible price for what I think is a really nice number.
Yes.
Next up, we have Denver at the Giants. Denver's laying 4.5 on the road.
I don't want to bet this game.
Your opinion? Neither do I.
I think
fucking stay away to me. I like Denver. Pool-wise, I'm going Denver. But no, I don't like them laying on the road, cross country. Yeah, they've had the rest. That shouldn't matter. But Peyton's not going to throw for 7 again.
No.
He does. Bravo.
And I think the Giants will give them more trouble in the secondary than Baltimore could as well. And we'll see how good their pass rush looks. And I think part of the reason Denver looked so good in that game, I think Baltimore that defense gassed out. First game of the year at altitude, I think they gassed out.
Mile high.
Yeah,
I've brought up the statistics about Denver playing at home in September because they've actually trained in the altitude.
Yeah, they have a
huge big advantage. This is something that Easterbrook first brought to my attention. And that was part of the reason for Shanahan's crazy early season success.
Yeah. It's a total advantage. So I don't want to bet this game, but I would split it. I would split it in the pool. Because I don't know what Denver is yet. One game doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. That's what I'd do. Yeah.
And Eli has a tendency.
I'm probably gonna lay it with Denver.
But in the big games where everybody's picking against Eli, he tends to have big games. Well, and he still puts up ridiculous numbers.
3 shit games like that Dallas games. Next game up. Wow. Talk about bottom feeders. Jacksonville at Oakland. Though I think Oakland may be better than the Chargers.
Yeah, this is a stay
Jacksonville's
away
getting
too.
5.5. It's a stay away. This was a mistake we made last week. We bet too many shit team versus shit team matchups. A lesson we learned last year. Because you never know what's going to happen. We stopped in about week 4 playing these shit versus shit.
Oh, we had
And
Atlanta,
we
New
forgot our
Orleans.
own lesson. We had
Well,
Jets, Tampa.
oh yeah, shit. Because the shit, you never know
We
which
took
way the shit's gonna
yeah.
roll. Carolina. Well, no, that wasn't a bad pick.
Yeah, as
I
you
still
say,
don't-
you don't know what's going to float.
Yeah.
No, they weren't terrible picks, but there's too many questions.
Yeah.
And this was something we talked about last year. So
Yeah, well, I would never
even
bet on either
though-
of these teams.
yeah, I mean, I think
They will never
Oakland's
show up on a bet card
fine
this year.
in this game.
Yeah, Oakland's going to cover. Well, maybe not. Henny's starting. Gabbert's out. Chad Henny's getting the start.
Yeah. So
I
who
think-
knows?
I think
I'm still
Jacksonville's
taking
better
Oakland
with
in the
Henny
pool,
in,
but
So, yeah, we're staying
and
away
we
from
moved to Sunday night. Yeah, staying away. I'm taking Oakland.
this. Yeah. Both
Jacksonville's
ways.
coach is either trying to I'll grab that audio from somewhere and send it to you. We'll try to throw it up on the site. Just Jacksonville's coach is either schizophrenic and talking to himself, or he's trying to coach a coach off a ledge. Sounds like the guy was going to quit in the booth. It's really funny. It was on the Sounds of the NFL feature on Monday. I'll have to grab it. It's inexplicably weird. Next game. The Sunday Nighter. San Fran at Seattle. This is a stay away from me too.
Yeah. It's the best game of the weekend.
If it were in San Francisco, I think the Niners are the better team. But Seattle's home field advantage is absurd.
Yeah, they crushed the Niners last year in Seattle. I don't know what San Francisco's defense is anymore. It used to be what drove that team. But now it's the offense, and Seattle has the best secondary in football right now. It's going to be a hell of a game.
Seattle's
I think it's going to
defense
come down.
is punishing, even with all the suspensions.
Well, they just couldn't catch them all at once. The cycles are different,
Yeah.
but their secondary's fantastic. So it's going to be interesting to see what San Francisco's offense can do against them, because that's what it's going to come to. Whoever plays better on that side of the ball, Seattle's defense versus San Francisco's offense. Because I don't think if San Francisco's moving the ball against them, I don't think Seattle can hang offensively with them.
Fair enough. I mean, this is a total stay away game that I'm just going to watch because I think it'll be a whole bunch of fucking fun.
Pool wise, I'd take San Fran both ways.
I'm going to take Seattle in the pool. I'm taking Seattle because of the home field.
Fair enough.
Their home field was crazy when the team had almost no chance. Now they've got a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
On defense.
It's just going to be bloody there.
On defense, they do. I still don't. I know Wilson threw for 320 yards. I'm still not sold on their offense. You still have to score a point. In this day and age,
Not
you gotta put
sold,
up
but
points.
contender. It's
Yes,
week 2.
definitely. But
Week
no, but
2,
in this,
I put them in the contenders list.
But in
It
this
would
day
not
and age,
shock my world if they won the Super Bowl. Put it that way.
It would shock me because in this day and age, you got to put up 30 to win the Super Bowl, and I don't think they're capable right now. What they looked like now. Last year they got better as the year went on. The offense, but we'll see.
Yeah, and all you have to do is make a run too, as Baltimore proved.
Yeah.
So I'm going Seattle with the home, and I don't think we're going to argue about this. You're taking the Niners
San
for
Fran,
the pool
both
players.
ways. Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that either.
No.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Because if you want to win a pool, you can't
And the
coin flip them all.
Monday Nighter. No. The Monday Nighter. Pittsburgh +7 at Cincy. I like Cincy.
Me too.
When
Wow.
we spoke on Sunday, I said fade. Pittsburgh is always, because they're such a bettor's favorite team, they are always skewed. What I said on Sunday was, I think we're going to be fading the Steelers all year.
Yeah.
I fucking love Cincy in this.
Yeah, me too. Geno
I think
Smith's
Pittsburgh is
gonna have a
appalling.
huge day. Their offensive line is brutal. The Titans, who had problems getting pressure on the quarterback last year, 5 sacks. And Ben was rushed all day. Which I didn't see coming as the text I
They've
sent
got no
you.
running game. They signed
first
Dwyer,
half.
who they cut. It's
Yeah.
never a good sign.
Well, that was just a number game.
I
though,
don't care
wasn't it?
who... They could put Barry Sanders back there. No, because he actually cleared waivers when they cut him. They cut him legit.
No, I know they cut him legit, but I'm saying it was just...
I don't care.
wasn't
You
like
could
he
put
got
Barry
outplayed.
Sanders. You could put... Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just numbers. So yeah, it's
nevertheless,
from
no
the
other
back.
team picked him up.
No.
But no other team even took him as a backup. You could put LaDainian Tomlinson, Barry Sanders. You could put anyone behind that O-line right now, and they're not going to have a running game.
Or
That
a passing
O-line...
game. They're in trouble.
Well, I mean, it's all about the O-line. You know my theory of football. It's all about the O-line. And they don't have one.
And it was bad even
And-
with Pouncey in.
It's... Yeah, and I even forgotten about that. So, since he loses on the coach, I don't trust Marv Lewis, and I hate giving him money, but I really want to take Cincy to cover this 7.
Yeah, me too. So is that a bet, or is that in the mix?
All the other ones we're fighting about, why don't we make that a bet?
Okay. Still wouldn't mind doing a parlay.
Pick one
Maybe we
side
can
of our
compromise on
parlay.
a parlay.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have the right
Well,
compromise
exactly. We'll
for a
just take one
parlay.
end of it.
I think we have a compromise for a parlay here
Okay.
in my feeble mind.
Okay.
So we're going to take Cincinnati -7, $10 pays $19.09. It has been booked.
It's a lot of points, and I'm not crazy about it, but I think Pittsburgh is terrible, and I think this line should be about 9.5.
Yeah, I do. Well,
I really do.
you want to talk about a team with no receivers? They were bad. Tight end was non-existent. Antonio Brown or Emmanuel Sanders, nothing. Like, it was bad. They had less than 200 yards total offense in that
Well,
game.
Sanders has had a lot of opportunities where he could step up and be a speedy number 2. Never come through. Never come through. It's not his first kick at the can.
No.
But I'm honestly excited about our compromise.
Okay, here's the compromise. Dallas +3, Atlanta -7. As our parlay.
I love it. I think we could fight for another hour and that's where we'd end up.
I don't mind the Dallas pick per se. My argument was I
don't mind the Atlanta pick per se.
Dallas always looks like this under Garrett, fucking. Oh, what's the old gray-haired dude, Wade Phillips? They've looked the same all the time. Even though I look at their talent and think they're one of the most talented teams in the NFC, they just always seem to have that look like we could win or we could lose. We're not sure. They're fucking schizophrenic, almost. But and Garrett in close games on the road is fucking brain dead. But I like Dallas, or we wouldn't be betting on them every year to win the
He's
NFC.
not calling the plays anymore, which can't.
Yeah, but he still has to call timeouts. He's the Andy Reid.
Yeah,
of the
well,
NFC
but on
West
the other hand, on the other sideline, you've got Andy Reid. Exactly.
Oh, man.
We've got the two-time management. If Norv Turner was a coordinator here, and Romeo Cornell, I don't know, was fetching him Gatorade, we'd have like the coaching trifecta of fuck-ups. Or not trifecta. That would be a super. Anyway.
All right. So
and sort of on the same way.
What's that?
Hang on just one second. I just want to say one thing about Atlanta. I'm not against that bet either. But Matt Ryan has got to prove that he is not Schaub. That's what he is turning into.
Oh, I think that might be a little
a good
strong.
Team with talented players. It's pretty close. I mean, I'm not saying he's there yet, but I'm saying he's got to prove he's not.
Well, he's taken.
That's why I hesitate laying 7 with Atlanta.
Yeah, but he's taken him farther than he's been to an NFC Championship game where they were 15 yards from going to the Super Bowl.
Houston's been to an AFC Championship game.
When?
Missed field goal.
When?
To the AFC Championship game if they hit that field goal in New England, Houston.
Wasn't that Baltimore?
So I just find them very similar.
Ryan's got more talent than
not
Schaub.
Exciting, business-like, above average. I agree, but I'm just saying Ryan could turn into.
You wouldn't trade him straight up.
He doesn't actually start to produce. Oh no, I wouldn't. I'm just saying he's in that zone for me, and that's why I hesitate laying 7. But I think we came up with a good compromise here.
All right, so we have
I'll
Dallas.
let you get back to it.
Dallas +3 at Kansas City and Atlanta -7 hosting St. Louis. $10 bet pays $37.39, and it is booked. Okay, I think we're probably close to 2 hours tonight, but it was a spirited adventure. So we got some news. We're on some new podcast sites. If you want to check us out, you can still find us on iTunes. Just search Offensive Lines. You can listen to it at our website, offensivelines.ca. We're now on Stitcher, stitcher.com, if you want to listen to it online, or you can get the app for your iPhone or Android device. We're on Podcast Blaster as well. They're online. And Digital Podcast, another online podcasting service. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines, or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to contact the show, send us an email at offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. That was Offensive Lines.
Wake up.